You mentioned in your opening about African-American support, and you mentioned that certain communities are coming over my father. It's exactly because of this. They're doing the same to Donald Trump as they did to so many of those communities for so long.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
These people are saying, it's really interesting. They did this to us for a long time. Now they're doing it to him. I might actually want to vote for the guy, who will fight back against this as we have tried to for so long. And I think that's why my father's done so incredibly well. And I think that's why some of these inner cities are embracing him to the extent that they are.
Right.
Welcome back to What Was That? I'm Gabe Sanchez. There are few things as entertaining as an Eric Trump interview. It's like watching a dog chase its tail. Endlessly entertaining and just a tad confusing. Eric graced us with his insight on his father's many criminal charges and their supposed appeal to black voters during a Fox News interview.
So how is President Trump preparing for this upcoming CNN presidential debate?
Well, obviously he takes it very seriously, but he's doing what he does. He's going all over the place campaigning. He was in inner city Philadelphia yesterday, which was an amazing thing, right? Something that Republicans just don't normally have the backbone to do. And you saw him do that in the Bronx, and you saw him do that in Queens, and you saw that he's doing that all over the country. And I'm proud of him. And the crowds that he's drawing and the diversity is really incredible. But
diversity? Can Eric Trump even define diversity?
But I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
When Eric says diversity, do you think he means how his father's campaign had to bring a bunch of white Trump supporters into the Bronx? I wonder what locals think.
A lot of his ideologies on the brink of putting us on a civil war.
From the man in the barbershop to the woman at the bus stop.
He's just coming here just to get the votes.
There's one message to Donald Trump.
Don't come to the Bronx, you're not wanted.
Or, when Eric says diversity, do you think he means how his father's campaign had to bus in a bunch of white Trump supporters into a black church in Detroit? You know what? Let's just see what Detroiters have to say.
He's a f***ing racist. Why he came here? To try and get black votes.
Well, he went to the white black church to get his votes and everything, but the only quorum he had was white folks. He can't get my vote.
He wanted to steal Detroit votes, take them away, make them seem like they didn't matter. So for him to come back to a black community church and still asking for our support, I just feel like that's wrong. I feel like it's not genuine. Yeah. And I'm not voting for him.
I think it was a bit of a smoke screen. If you look at the demographics of the people who were actually there versus where the event was held.
Clearly, there's a lot of diversity.
One other thing I need to mention, Maria, it's pretty telling of a president who has to go to Camp David in the middle of the woods and lock himself effectively in a bunker for an 8-day period of time because his policies are so bad that he has to figure out some way to polish them up and try and sugarcoat them and try and frame them with all of his top advisors. And I can tell you my father is not doing that. My father's on the right side of these issues, and
Whoa. Eric Trump should probably be careful when it comes to complaining about President Biden going to Camp David. You know, on account of his father, Donald Trump, planning a secret meeting with the Taliban at Camp David, and luckily, it never happened. Now, we all know that Eric Trump is not that bright, but hosting a dinner party with a terrorist group at Camp David is much worse than using it for debate prep.
On the Camp David situation, I mean, look, the world doesn't stop. We've still got our adversaries. They're coming at us. Communist China, Iran, Russia. I mean, so for him to take himself out of the situation and sort of go and, hold up in Camp David, I mean, we pray nothing happens, that he's not, in the White House.
Wait. Does Bartiromo think that Camp David is on some remote island where presidents can't do their job? Because history would say otherwise. Past presidents have met with world leaders, not terrorists, conferred with advisors, and discussed policies as well as national security. I mean, it's a hell of a lot more secure than that crappy Mar-a-Lago bathroom where Trump hid those classified documents.
My father would have never done that. He could have never done that because his eye was actually on the ball, but
Donald Trump's eye was never on the ball. Actually, on second thought, his eye was on the ball. The golf ball, that is. During Trump's first term in office, he spent 307 days golfing, with most, if not all of those trips, at Trump's properties. This cost us, the American taxpayer, over $142 million. A president putting taxpayer money into their companies? Not shady at all. I also want to point out that while hundreds of thousands of Americans were dying from COVID, Trump was busy shanking golf balls on the golf course. This is who the GOP wants as president. A lazy, good-for-nothing con man who only cares about himself and wouldn't get out of bed if his family were in danger. And speaking of beds, I want to thank today's sponsor, Miracle Made. Did you know that traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat? It can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses, and it's just gross. Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning antibacterial bedding, such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent up to 99.7% of bacteria growth and require up to 3 times less laundry. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and feel as nice if not nicer than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe to try Miracle Sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Gabe at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe and use the code Gabe to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Gabe to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Our economy is definitely teetering out. I mean, I'm just predicting it right now. It is teetering out as we sit here and speak. And
teetering out? The stock market is at an all-time high. More jobs have been created under President Biden. And according to a recent report by Moody's Analytics, inflation would accelerate under Trump and the GOP's policies. Remember, everything Trump touches dies.
You've got a sentencing coming up for your father, July 11th, just a few days before the Republican National Convention. What are you expecting from this sentencing?
Yeah, well, shocking. I think the next evening I take the stage at the RNC. You know, go figure that. You know, out of all the dates that the judge could have put this, they have to put it. You know, the day before. Maybe the biggest day outside of Election Day in an election cycle. I mean, Maria, this is planned. And again, the American people see through all of this. The judge couldn't have picked a day 2 days later. He had to do it right before. You know, again, it's why people realize that George is a sham and the Boxes case is a sham and, you know, Mershon's a sham and the daughter, you know, raising the amount of money that she's been reportedly raising is also a sham and a conflict. And, you know, the more they do this, the more the American people see how kind of persecuted and ostracized. And you mentioned in your opening about African-American support, and you mentioned that certain communities are coming over my father. It's exactly because of this. They're doing the same to Donald Trump as they did to so many of those communities for so long. And these people are saying, it's really interesting. They did this to us for a long time. Now they're doing it to him. I might actually want to vote for the guy, you know, who will fight back against this as we have tried to for so long. And I think that's why my father's done so incredibly well. And I think that's why some of these inner cities are embracing him to the extent that they are.
Let's unpack this, shall we? Eric claims that his father's legal troubles are somehow drawing in black voters like moths to a flame. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a community rally around someone because they have more criminal charges than a season of Law and Order. Eric is also using the classic Trump family playbook. If I'm in trouble, it must be because the system is broken, not because, you know, I actually did anything wrong. Like when Trump University was exposed as a scam, or when the Trump Foundation was shut down for, let's say, less than charitable activities, or when the Trump Organization was fined for committing fraud. Yeah, those were all part of the rigged system, right? But let's get serious for a moment. The notion that black voters are suddenly flocking to Trump because of his criminal charges is not just laughable, it's insulting. It undermines the intelligence of an entire community. Black voters, like all voters, are concerned with policies that affect their daily lives. Healthcare, education, criminal justice reform, jobs. The list is endless. They could care less about the legal woes of a guy who soils himself on stage and thinks we use washing machines to wash dishes.
But no, their idea, you know, did you see the other day? I opened it up and they closed it again. I opened it, they closed it. Washing machines to wash your dishes. There's a problem. They don't want you to have any water. They want no water, and I was with...
And you were just listening to former President Trump, and we're going to talk about some of the things he was discussing there. We'll be right back with final remarks.
You gotta love how Fox News has to cut away from Trump in the middle of his incoherent, unintelligible, and confusing rant about washing machines. And now, Eric Trump is so desperate to receive his father's love that he went on a QAnon show to push this lie about black voters even more.
And guys, that's waking up a lot of communities too. I mean, I think you've seen how engaged the African American community has become, and how they're, trending fast right over to the Republican Party, because they're saying, hey, so many of our communities, they've done the same thing to us for years. They've prosecuted us so oftentimes unjustly. They're doing to him what they did to me, and I'm not into it. And I can see, I can read between the lines.
This is what happens when you have no platform or policies to offer the American people other than xenophobia and bigotry. You have to rely on your adult son to make up stories about how people are coming to you because you had a mugshot taken. Because remember, as Trump says, he's the real victim, and according to him, he has the wounds to prove it.
And I have the wounds all over my body. If I took this shirt off, you'd see a beautiful, beautiful person. But you'd see wounds all over me. I've taken a lot of wounds, I can tell you. More than I suspect any president ever.
Well, that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to follow me at I Am Gabe Sanchez. What Was That is made possible by viewers like you. And if you'd like to support the show and help us grow, you can contribute to my Patreon at patreon.com/IamGabeSanchez. Thank you for your support. So until next episode, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?